Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today, guys, we are going to be taking a look here at Polkadot, see what's been going on most recently with the price action here of DOT, and what I think might actually happen next. Now, as I get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you are going to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, why not go ahead and check it out? Fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. We do a whole host more technical analysis on various different altcoins for our Patreon members and also for our Discord members. So why not go ahead and check it out? Right, let's get right down into Polkadot here and see what is going on. So it's been a little while since I've looked at Polkadot on the hourly charts, and there's some interesting things going on. But I want to actually start things off with the daily because there were a couple of things that were alarming to me on our daily time frame. So I just want to kind of shoot this back down a little bit, right? So on the daily here, we are thinking that there's going to be some kind of pullback. Okay, and I think the pullback is going to be strange. It's not going to necessarily fit the same narrative as what Bitcoin is doing, for example. It could also be very, very sharp, right? And Bitcoin might have a sharp correction at some point that aids in this move to the downside. But I just want to highlight a couple of things, right? So as I zoom out here, you can kind of see all of the data that we have for Polkadot. This comes back from August 2020, right? So obviously a little bit after the initial kind of bull run stages of March 2020, the pandemic crash, etc. Pretty much when most altcoins started. Now, August 2020 was pretty much the end of wave 1 for many altcoins, and they then went into a wave 2, going down towards the end of 2020. So here you can see the same kind of pattern. The Polkadot basically launched right at the end of wave 1, and then goes down into what was wave 2 at the time. Now, this is important because we can, of course, articulate this in the same way as many altcoins. Because it started down here, we could say that this is wave 1, this is wave 2. Then we have a huge wave 3, and we come down for wave 4. Then we move up into a fantastic wave 5, right? And this is perfectly fine. It aligns to the rules of Elliott wave theory, and specifically the 3 motive moves and the 2 corrective moves. So obviously, as time has progressed, we can see that, and it is actually quite fortunate. And I'll say it's fortunate because the minimum requirement for a third wave is 1.618 of wave 1. And in the case of Polkadot here, wave 1 is so small that it's really hard not to have gone 1.618, okay? Had wave 1 been longer, there's a high probability that Polkadot maybe didn't actually reach that threshold to call it an impulsive move. Nonetheless, we are where we are, and we can obviously move forward. So this move that we've been seeing pretty much from these high points of May 2021 is a complex corrective 4th wave move in the same way that it is for Bitcoin. Okay, and it's actually running a very similar pattern to Bitcoin. We pulled down initially to the low points of June and July of 2021. We then pushed up into new all-time highs, just like Bitcoin did. Okay, and then we pulled back down. Now, this can be a couple of different things, and if I focus in on this now and zoom in, this corrective pattern I have currently mapped out as an expanding flat correction. Okay, so if we come over here and we start drawing in a trend line between these points, you get the idea that this is an ascending trend line, and over here, potentially a descending trend line. We come down into these lower ranges. Okay, and that basically makes this an expanding flat correction, a big A wave down, a B wave up, and a C wave coming down lower. Okay, now the other alternative is that actually it becomes a running flat correction, and this is what I think Bitcoin is doing. And as I think Bitcoin is doing it, it's also possible that that Polkadot does. Okay, but there are a couple of exceptions, and what makes me worry about Polkadot here in terms of the price slightly longer term. And that is that the stochastic RSI for Polkadot is vastly different to the stochastic RSI of Bitcoin. Okay, so on this daily chart, we have a relatively high stochastic RSI. And if we jump over to Bitcoin, we have a relatively low stochastic RSI. Okay, so we should be open to the idea that actually this might be an expanding flat correction in the same way that there was an expanding flat correction for 𝗕𝗓, right? Cardano's 𝗕𝗓. It has already completed its expanding flat correction, but Polkadot hasn't necessarily completed just yet. It should actually be potentially moving down. And I reckon I have this kind of plotted out about $9.09. Okay, so that's quite a significant pullback from where it is. And if I actually draw that on there, it's about another 47% from the current price. Now, from previous all-time high down to that particular level would be a 83% drop, which again isn't unusual for this particular space right now. Currently, we've pulled back 74%. Okay, so a couple of different options. I think that there's a likelihood that we are going to move down, and that does bother me slightly longer term. But afterwards, there would be an explosive move to the upside, and I'm going to be conservative. I'll take it from here. And we can potentially be thinking about Polkadot moving up into some really interestingly high numbers, $130, for example, maybe even higher. So we should be really open to the idea that once this comes in, there'll be massive gains to be made, but I am expecting a little bit more pain before those gains are seen. So let's jump down into the hourly chart, because there is, some interesting things going on here for the shorter time frames as well as the longer time frames. Okay, because I think it's going to take a while to see $9 Polkadot. No, I don't think it's going to happen overnight, for example. Now, if we start to map this up, we obviously have A, B, and C. Nothing special about that, pretty standard stuff. And now we're kind of tracking the same kind of move coming down, right? So if we were to measure this distance just here to here, pull that down onto here, we are, potentially looking at $16 on that move there. But this gain won't be quick. I think this will happen over probably a little while. And right now we're actually tracking the end of an ABC move, and therefore we should be thinking about ABC up in the immediate future. Okay, so there's a couple of things here. Okay, the hourly chart needs to move up, so we're going to have the ABC to the upside first. I don't know how big or how small that is going to be until we actually start to see that form out. Okay, chances are it's not going to be higher than where we were previously just here, so I'm not expecting it to go higher than $17.80. 86. I'm not expecting it to go higher than that, but it's possible. So we'll see how that plays out. On the 4-hourly chart or the 8-hourly chart, actually they're all looking pretty good. So I could be proven wrong there. So let me just come back down. So there is this ABC move coming to the downside here, right? And this being $16.18. The hourly, the 4-hourly, the 8-hourly charts are not actually indicating that they are likely to come down here. Okay, it's possible, but not probable right now. Okay, and actually there's a higher probability of reversal. So on that note, we should probably now talk about invalidation. What would prevent us from coming down to $16.18? Well, in order to prevent that, we have to come higher than $18.75. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move in here, and I'm going to put a horizontal ray just up there. Okay, if we move past $18.75, there is no $16.18 to be had within this wave count, okay? And therefore, that's wrong. Okay, so the 4-hourly, the 8-hourly, the hourly, that could be a possibility that we look for that, okay? So we want to track that a little bit higher. I will retract my remark saying that maybe we don't push higher than 1786. It's possible that actually, we do, but maybe it's a couple of moves later. So a small ABC up, small ABC down, then we break upwards, right? So watch out for that on Polkadot, and we'll see, right? Because it all depends on how fast that stochastic RSI moves on our hourly, it moves on our 4-hourly and our 8-hourly. The daily chart is going to be an interesting move as well, because if we start to go back up into the overbought area from our current position, what does that actually tell us in a longer term? Are we still looking progressively down, etc.? Now, so moving up higher than these points here are going to be key for Polkadot. And, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is not an expanding flat correction. Maybe it is going to be a running flat correction like Bitcoin. This daily stochastic RSI is bothering me, so we'll have to see if that gets wiped out quickly. But the 1 hour, the 4-hour, the 8-hour looking pretty good. The weekly is also looking good. And the monthly doesn't exist really. It's in the ground anyway, but it doesn't really exist. So for the most part, the only one that is concerning me is this daily stochastic RSI for Polkadot. If that can get corrected without doing too much price damage, and then I think Polkadot's in a really good spot for a massive swing to the upside. Guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you are going to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.